And so the second part, I'll take this off. Thank goodness we got a warm day today, huh? Oh, nice. The last part, just the other part of Buddha's teaching that's come in really handy and that he's known for, but it's often sort of dismissed because it's very threatening, which is why I like it, is his teaching of no self, which is also intimately a part of the one that I was just talking about too. As soon as you enter into that state of not pushing and not pulling, not pushing away and not grasping, allowing every part of experience to be as it is. From that place, and only from that place, can you start to notice for yourself that every part of experience that seems to have a self, a me in it, every part of experience that seems to have a me in it, from that place you start to notice that there isn't one. From that place of stillness, you can see a thought arise, and you can see it's just a thought. It's not belonging to anybody, it's not pertaining to anybody, it's not occurring to anybody. Nobody actually thought it. It was a totally spontaneous thought. And it disappears. And there's no self whatsoever in it. If you can look at absolutely every part of human experience, and you will completely be unable to find any self if you look very sincerely and very simply from a non-conceptual point of view, you see? Which means you look from consciousness itself rather than mind. And you see, there is no, this entity called me is just an inference. It's inferred. There's thoughts, there must be a me who they belong to. There's feelings, they must be mine. There's a life, it must belong to me. There's a body, it's my body. Right? There's an identity, there must be, it's mine. You see what I mean? There's a belief. That belief must belong to somebody, therefore it's mine. All thoughts of oneself are by inference. Right? And when you actually look for it, you don't come up with it. You keep not coming up with this little me entity. The me entity is simply created by this volatile mix of consciousness, feeling, emotion, thought, and perception. If it swirls fast enough, it gives the appearance of a individual, separate me. You see? If it's swirling fast enough. When it stops swirling, you can start to see through it, and you start to see there isn't a me there. It's like if you went to the movies, and as long as the film runs in front of the light bulb fast enough, it gives the appearance that there's actually people here on the screen. There's really cars. And there's really, all this is actually happening, you see? But if you were to slow it down, you start to see, actually, no, this is like a very fast slideshow. You see, every picture is actually totally static. Nothing is moving. You see what I mean? It's just pictures happening really quickly that give the illusion of movement, that they give the illusion of life, they give the illusion of this event that we pay $9.50 to see. Right? Popcorn and drink, you're probably up to like $20. And it gives this illusion that it's an event that's happening now in real time, right? That's why I say when I'm going to the movies that I'm going to the illusions, right? I'm going to go fool myself. I'm going to laugh at things that aren't happening. I'm going to cry at things that don't matter. And I might even get upset at things of no possible consequence. It's silly illusions. So this is one of these very profound insights that it's possible to have. This insight when you're not pushing and you're not pulling. When you're not pushing and you're not pulling, you're not engaged in mind. You're not engaged in ego. And so your perception becomes very clear, crystal clear. See? As long as you're pushing and pulling, trying to understand, pushing some feeling away, some thought away, some experience, any pushing or pulling distorts perception. See? And when one's not pushing and pulling, your perception becomes very, very clear, extraordinarily potent, extraordinarily powerful, and you start to be able to see for yourself, my God, there's no separate self anywhere in any part of experience. Now, as a teaching, as an intellectual teaching, this doesn't do anybody any good. If it's understood intellectually, who cares? As far as I'm concerned, if anything, any of spirituality is simply understood intellectually, it doesn't matter. It's of no value. What the teachings are really meant for is to encourage you and I to look for ourselves, to find the validity or lack of validity within them. So we have to be willing to look for ourselves until we find out for ourselves. Because when you find out for yourself, you can't conveniently unsee something you've seen. Now, I've had people that I've known them for a while, and they'll talk about, this teaching and that person. Oh yes, I know there's no self, and I know they don't know that, right? They think they know. And they'll da-da-da-da. And then the day comes where they actually see it. 9 times out of 10, they try very hard to unsee it. No, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that I don't exist. No, 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 no. That always quiets the room right down. You see what I mean? Don't worry, it's just the idea of you that doesn't exist. That's all. But for most people, that's like 100% of them as far as they're concerned, right? All they know is the idea of themselves. All they know is the idea of their neighbor, or their mother, or their brother, or their sister, or their friend, or their dog. All they know is their idea of God or truth. And so to lose it can seem like you're losing everything, but you're not. The individual self is simply, it's a false perception. It's a very quick inference that the mind is constantly making. The mind is constantly taking ownership of every event that happens in the body-mind. You see? And when you see for yourself, there isn't this little me entity. It's very, very potent. So when you take these two things together, not pushing and not pulling, which allows perception or consciousness to become very clear, extraordinarily clear, also very vast. If you're not pushing and you're not pulling, your consciousness will be experienced to be quite vast, without limitation, without border. And when you see through the fiction of the individual separate me or self, when you really see through it, it's possible then to see right into the true nature of Well, if you see into the true nature of yourself, you see into the true nature of everything. Because, of course, that's what spirituality is basically about. It's basically about awakening to the one single reality. That's basically all it is. Right? If you were religious or theistic, that awakening would show you that everything is God. Everything, everything, everything. You, him, her, it, a piece of dust, supernova, and that which is completely beyond all universes. It's all God. If you are theistic, or that may become your realization. Everything is God. Everything and everybody. Would change the way you behave a bit, wouldn't it? Would change the way we relate to each other, the way we feel about each other, the way this whole sense of separation, that you are somehow different from the ground you're walking down, just simply falls away. This sense of that you are essentially different from the next person you meet is suddenly seen to be just an illusion. If you were not sort of theistic or God-centered, you might simply realize that everything is an expression of consciousness. Everything, everybody is consciousness. Everything that exists is but an expression of consciousness.